Welcome to Wall Sandwire. Today we're talking about Akmal's aggressive demand for resignations following quite a controversial government function.
Yeah, this whole thing blew up really fast. It started with, just a dinner, hosted by the Tourism Promotion Board?
That's right, which falls under the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. But it wasn't the food that caused the uproar.
No, it was the drinks. Specifically, serving hard liquor at an official government event. That act, that single decision, just ignited a political firestorm.
A firestorm that went right up to the top, demanding 2 cabinet ministers step down.
Exactly. So for you listening, what we need to unpack here are these two, fundamentally opposing viewpoints.
On one side, you got the argument rooted in national law and local sensitivity.
And on the other, the defense basically saying, look, this is about international etiquette, maybe even economic necessity.
It really throws that balancing act into sharp relief, doesn't it? Trying to stick to domestic rules while also managing how Malaysia appears on the global stage, especially with tourism being so crucial.
Absolutely. And the reaction was just so immediate, so intense. You saw this zero tolerance stance from people who felt serving alcohol, especially by a government body, was just completely out of line.
Okay, let's dive into that first perspective. The main voice, the loudest one, was UMNO Youth Chief Akmal. His position seemed, totally uncompromising.
Oh, completely. He framed it as much more than just like a simple mistake in planning. For him, it was a serious legal breach and a cultural one, too.
Right. His core argument was that providing hard liquor at an official government agency event is actually against the law. He kept stressing that point.
Yeah, and that it crossed a line regarding the sensitivities of Malaysians. He was very, very clear on that.
And he made a specific distinction, didn't he? He emphasized this wasn't about stopping non-Muslims drinking or, interfering with private restaurants selling alcohol.
Precisely. His anger, his whole argument was focused squarely on the institutional aspect. The fact that it was government institutions and official activities being used for this, that's what he said violated the rules.
That distinction is key, I think, because it shifts the argument from just this is culturally insensitive to this is actually illegal in this specific government context.
And that, of course, gives it political teeth. Which is why he didn't just ask for an apology or a clarification. He went straight for the jugular.
The ultimatum, demanding resignations, not just one, but 2 ministers, Na Ming, the housing and local government minister, and Tiong, the tourism minister himself.
Yeah, and the condition attached was interesting. He basically put Na Ming on the spot, said if Nong couldn't understand how serious this legal violation and boundary crossing was,
then both he and Tiong had to resign. It felt like a deliberate move to corner Na Ming, who had pretty quickly defended Tiong.
It really did. And Akmal showed zero interest in hearing about international norms or anything like that.
What did Akmal call it? Inappropriate stupidity.
That's the one. Inappropriate stupidity. I mean, that language just tells you how incredibly heated this got. And remember, these guys are all technically part of the same unity government framework.
Right. This wasn't coming from the opposition benches. This was internal pressure, which makes it way more complicated for the leadership.
Definitely raises the stakes for Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim down the line. But okay, let's flip to the other side of the coin. How did the ministers, particularly Na Ming, defend this?
Well, their defense was grounded in, let's say, pragmatism, international relations, basically. Na Ming backed Tiong up straight away.
His argument was explicit. You're dealing with foreign delegates, international guests. At these kinds of international dinners, serving alcohol isn't just optional, it's often expected. It's part of international etiquette or protocol.
So the implication was that Tiong ministry, the Tourism Promotion Board, was just following standard global practice for this kind of high-level engagement.
That seems to be the core of it, yes. Like, refusing to adhere might actually be seen as rude or could damage relationships, especially when you're trying to promote tourism.
And there was an economic angle, too, wasn't there? Na Ming brought up Visit Malaysia Year 2026.
He did. He warned that blowing this protocol issue out of proportion, making a big deal out of it, could actually hurt that major national initiative.
So frame it as potentially damaging the economy if Malaysia appears too rigid or unwelcoming according to international standards.
Essentially, yes. It shifts the debate. Is this about strictly following a domestic rule in every single context, or is it about the bigger picture of national revenue and international standing?
It puts you, the listener, in a tough spot, right? If you need these foreign delegations for the economy, do you bend a bit on local norms for an official function like this, or do you stand firm? which obligation wins out?
It's a classic government dilemma. And the pressure wasn't just from Akmal. We should also mention others waded in.
Right, like Masar Miati, the member of parliament for Masjid Tana. She also raised questions.
Yeah, she brought in a slightly different angle, questioning if it violated broader cultural norms, maybe even constitutional principles about how government bodies should act. It showed the concern wasn't isolated to just UMNO youth.
Okay, so you've got Akmal's legalistic attack, broader cultural concerns being raised, friction within the coalition. The pressure cooker was definitely on.
Which is where the Prime Minister, Anwar Ibrahim, had to step in. Someone needed to draw a line under it.
And his intervention was, well, quite decisive, wasn't it? So how did he thread that needle? Demanding resignations would have been huge, destabilizing, but just dismissing the complaint? That might look weak.
The compromise was quite clever, really. He issued a strong reminder that was the key phrase to Tiong Singh and the ministry.
A reminder about what specifically?
That the error, again, note the careful choice of word, error, of providing alcohol at official government events must not happen again.
So by calling it an error and demanding it not be repeated, he acknowledges that, yes, something went wrong according to government policy or expectation.
Exactly. It validates the core of Akmal's complaint, that a line was crossed regarding official functions, but without the drastic step of firing anyone.
So it saves face for the ministers while giving Akmal's side a win in terms of policy clarification.
Pretty much. It was about accountability through future adherence, not through immediate punishment. It stabilized the cabinet. And the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture quickly fell in line.
They issued a statement confirming they'd, quote, learned their lesson.
Yes, specifically referencing that global tourism exchange dinner incident. They gave assurances that, it wouldn't happen again. Case seemingly closed, politically speaking.
So looking back at this whole whirlwind, what are the main takeaways? You had Akmal's very aggressive push based on law and local sensitivity,
Clashing directly with the defense from Korming and Tiong Singh, which was all about international standards and economic pragmatism.
and ultimately settled by the Prime Minister, finding a middle path that stressed policy adherence moving forward, but protected his ministers.
I think the biggest takeaway is just how incredibly fine the line is for ministers, especially in this unity government setup. Every little decision, even drinks at a dinner, can explode.
It really highlights that tension between wanting to engage globally, attract investment, boost tourism,
And needing to manage deeply ingrained local sensitivities and apparently specific interpretations of government event regulations. The scrutiny is intense.
This whole incident probably sets a pretty strong precedent now, wouldn't you say? It sort of redefines the risk calculation for ministries hosting international events.
Oh, absolutely. It forces a much stricter look at what constitutes an official government event versus maybe just a function hosted by an agency, but not strictly official in the same way. The political cost of getting it wrong just went way up.
It shows that internal demands for adherence can, potentially, carry significant weight, perhaps even overriding arguments about international flexibility in certain contexts.
Definitely something for all ministries dealing with foreign interactions to think very carefully about going forward. The standard operating procedures will likely be reviewed, I imagine.
Well, that wraps up our look at this recent political drama and its implications.
A fascinating case study in balancing domestic pressures and global engagement.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.